David sat in his truck outside the cafe, gripping the steering wheel. His friend Marcus had set this up, insisting it was time. 2 years since Sarah passed, Marcus kept saying. 2 years of raising Emma alone. 2 years of microwave dinners and parent-teacher conferences where he was the only dad in a sea of mothers. The snow was falling heavier now. He should go in, or he could start the engine and head home. Emma was at her grandmother's tonight. He could pick up Chinese food, watch whatever game was on, fall asleep in his recliner, like he did most Saturday nights. But Marcus had been persistent, almost desperate. That should have been his first warning. David pushed open the cafe door. The warmth hit him first, then the smell of coffee and cinnamon. He scanned the room, looking for someone who might be waiting. Someone alone. Someone hoping. Then he saw her. She was seated at a corner table, positioned in a way that seemed both deliberate and resigned. The red dress caught his eye first. It was elegant, the kind of thing Sarah used to wear to holiday parties. Then he noticed the wheelchair. His first instinct was to turn around, not because of the wheelchair itself, but because he understood immediately what Marcus had done. This wasn't just a blind date. This was a setup built on pity from both sides. But she had already seen him. Her expression shifted from nervous anticipation to something harder to read. Recognition of his hesitation, maybe, or worse, familiarity with it. David made himself walk over. "Jennifer," she said, extending her hand. Her voice was steady, but her eyes held a challenge. "David." He shook her hand and sat down. "I'm guessing your friends didn't tell you much about me either." A small smile. "Rachel said you were kind, that you'd lost your wife, that you needed to remember what it felt like to have an actual conversation with an adult woman. Marcus told me you made the best lasagna in 3 counties and that you could talk about baseball for hours." "I hate baseball," Jennifer said flatly. David laughed despite himself. "I'm more of a basketball guy anyway." The waitress came over. They both ordered coffee, buying time. When she left, Jennifer leaned forward slightly. "Look, we can sit here for 20 minutes, finish our coffee, and go home. Tell our well-meaning friends we gave a shot. I won't be offended." David studied her. She was probably around his age, maybe a year or 2 younger. There were faint lines around her eyes, the kind that came from smiling, though she wasn't smiling much now. Her hands rested in her lap, fingers interlaced. Strong hands. "Is that what you want?" he asked. "I want to not be someone's charity project," she said quietly. "I want to not see that look men get when they first walk in. The one you had. Like they're calculating whether they can slip out before making it worse." The words hit harder than she probably intended. Or maybe exactly as hard as she intended. 3 years ago, I was running marathons. Jennifer continued. I taught 2nd grade. I drove a stick shift. Then I wrapped my car around a telephone pole on black ice one February morning. The surgeons did what they could. I'm lucky to be alive. Everyone tells me I'm lucky. "Are you?" David asked. She blinked. "What?" "Do you feel lucky?" Jennifer sat back. The question seemed to surprise her. Some days, most days, I feel like I'm half a person. Like the woman I was died in that accident, and this stranger took her place. Someone who needs help reaching things on high shelves, who has to plan her life around whether buildings have ramps, who makes men want to flee when they realize what they're walking into. David nodded slowly. He understood that feeling more than she knew. When Sarah got sick, it was fast, he said. 6 months from diagnosis to funeral. Everyone said I was handling it so well, so strong for Emma, so brave. I felt like a fraud. I was barely holding it together, still in most days. "But you're here," Jennifer said. Marcus wore me down. And honestly, The house gets pretty quiet when Emma's not there. The silence is worse than anything. Rachel did the same thing. Said I was wasting my life feeling sorry for myself. That the old Jennifer would never have given up. Did that make you angry? David asked. Furious, Jennifer admitted, because she was right. I had been giving up. Easier than trying and failing. Easier than seeing disappointment in people's faces. The coffee arrived. They both added cream, stirred, let the moment settle. Can I tell you something? David said. When I first saw you, I did think about leaving. Not because of the wheelchair. Because I realized our friends had lied to both of us. They'd manipulated us into this. And I was angry at Marcus for that. But you stayed. I stayed because you look like someone who deserved better than being walked out on. And because the red dress reminded me that life used to have moments like this. Moments where you got dressed up and hoped for something good. Jennifer's eyes glistened. She looked away, composing herself. The truth is I'm terrified, she said softly. Terrified that no one will ever see past this chair. That this is all I am now. The woman who used to run. The teacher who can't go back to her classroom because it's on the second floor of a building built in 1952. You're not all you used to be, David said. Jennifer's expression hardened, but he continued. You're also everything you've survived. Everything you've learned. Everything you become by not giving up, even when you wanted to. That sounds like something from a greeting card. My daughter says I'm terrible with words. She's 12. She's probably right. What's her name? Emma. She's smart. Smarter than me. Keeps me honest. I'd like to meet her sometime, Jennifer said, then caught herself. Sorry, that was presumptuous. I don't even know if there's going to be a second date. David finished his coffee. Tell me about the lasagna. What? Rachel said you make great lasagna. Was that true or more manipulation? Jennifer smiled. A real one this time. I do make excellent lasagna. For cheese, homemade sauce, my grandmother's recipe. Takes half a day, but it's worth it. I make mean garlic bread. Emma says it's my only culinary skill. Garlic bread and lasagna. Jennifer said thoughtfully. That sounds like dinner. It does. They talked for another hour. About Emma and her love of science. About Jennifer's students and how much she missed them. About David's work as a contractor and Jennifer's freelance editing. About movies they'd seen and books they'd meant to read. Small things. Real things. When they finally stood to leave, David walked with her to her car. She had hand controls installed, and he watched as she transferred herself from the wheelchair with practiced efficiency. Thank you, she said, for staying, for listening, for not making this about pity. Thank you for giving me a reason to remember that not every evening has to end in a recliner with takeout. Jennifer pulled out of the parking lot. David stood in the snow, watching her taillights disappear. His phone buzzed. Marcus. How did it go?